This one will be short and sweet. Short and sweet. So the pelvic floor muscles that sit at the bottom of our pelvis that we all have, they are a bowl shape, and they make up the support system for our pelvic organs. They are made up of 14 different muscles, which are a lot of small little muscles if you didn't know that. These muscles there are 3 types of muscles in the body, in the human body. You have the cardiac muscle, which the heart is made up of. And there's like automatic components to that where the heart can beat automatically. That's why you can have someone that's what they consider vegetables in the hospital, just to paint the picture, and they're still working even though the brain is affected, might be highly affected, but the heart still beats because it's automatic. That's cardiac muscle. Then you have smooth muscle, which makes up your organs, the lining of your organs, your intestines, your stomach, your uterus, your veins, your vessels, arteries. That's smooth muscle. So that is involuntarily controlled by the nervous system. Oh, hang on, guys. Hang on. The doggy pooped. I have to clean it up. And then there is skeletal muscle. Okay? Skeletal muscle is found in your extremities. Oh, you hear that noise? That's actually coming from my condo. They're still doing construction. Yep, it's never ending. Skeletal muscle is voluntarily controlled, okay? These are the muscles that make up our arms. They exist in our legs, the hamstring, the biceps, the latissimus dorsi, your rhomboids, the muscles of your neck that turn your body. Those are the muscles that if I tell my arm to lift up in the sky, hooray, pooper scooper. Okay, so I'm gonna be honest, I actually lost the poop. I lost it. You guys, don't do what I do sometimes. You talk on the phone, you talk to your followers, you're teaching or whatever, you look away from the poop, and then when you look back you can't find it. It's just blended in. Don't do that. Don't do what I do. Pick it up right away. I didn't pick it up right away, and then I lost it. Gosh, I tried to have him sniff it out, but he was ready to move on. Anyway, skeletal muscle exists you can control skeletal muscle. So all that to say, I was going to give the example. If I say arm raise, hand close, move your wrist, I can tell my body to do whatever I want it to do, and then it does it. I don't really have to tell it. It just happens when I think about it, right? But it's me choosing to do that. That's what I mean by voluntary muscles, skeletal muscles. Okay, so that being said, the pelvic floor hi doctor, thank you for your amazingly kind email. I haven't had a chance to reply back, but thank you so much. And if it's okay with you, I would love to share your words in a testimonial. I appreciate it so much. So the pelvic floor is made up of the same exact type of muscle fiber, skeletal muscle, okay? So those skeletal muscles, why they're so special? Because you can control them. They are voluntary muscles. So your pelvic floor, hi.
Hi, how are you?
I'm just teaching about pelvic health. Don't mind me. Thank you. So your pelvic floor, they're voluntary muscles. You can control them. So that being said, the reason I wanted to get on here was to talk about what happens. Okay, I gotta let this dog sniff out things. What happens when these muscles experience trauma? What happens when something out of the norm, something unnatural happens to them? Okay, I'm gonna repeat that. What happens to these muscles when something unnatural happens to them? Okay. and something that may be perceived by the owner of those pelvic floor muscles as traumatic. Okay? What happens? Think about it. What does the body do when this happens? Just in general, if you have a car accident, what does your body do? Okay, so I'll answer that if nobody wants to answer. Dr. Hunt gets her replies so quickly. So funny. So what happens is that she's the one that motivated me to put myself out there and start teaching and just teach everything I know and get comfortable talking about it, because that literally was the reason why I started doing these lives. I wanted to get more comfortable talking about what I do. What do I do and how I help my patients and my clients. So when we have a car accident, afterwards, that's traumatic. We're all banged up. We're bruised. Our muscles are probably injured. God forbid we didn't break a bone. You don't feel it right away, right? You have that adrenaline rush when it happens. So people don't, for example, whiplash, people don't feel that right away. They feel it the next day. That's why they say, get the information from the other person, because if you have an injury from even just a little fender bender, you're like, oh, there was no damage. You might have whipped back your head, and during that adrenaline rush from that happening, you didn't notice your pain. Sorry guys, I'm just going where he wants to sniff. You didn't notice that. Come on, Emma, let's go. Amorcito, let's go. But you'll feel that pain a couple days later. Why? Because the muscles stiffen, they guard. Something happens to the nervous system, and it's put into this fight or flight state. Okay? Sometimes it comes out of that fight or flight state naturally on its own. Sometimes it doesn't. For a lot of people, it doesn't, and they live in a fight or flight state their entire lives. And these people have aches and pains, and they have hurting joints and muscles. I'm just going to stick to muscles right now. They have tense muscles at their neck, their back, their pelvic floor. Okay? So maybe something didn't happen to the pelvic floor, but they have tension there. So this leads to what I really wanted to talk about. Your pelvic floor is the guard dog of your body. It's like a guard dog. It's think of it. It's a portal. It's a portal for a new vessel. Only women have the zinc spark. We bring life into this earth. We bring the soul into the zygote through the zinc spark. And those pelvic floor muscles are meant to guard us. They're meant to guard us. And why do they tense up when there's trauma? It's just what they do. So there was a study, and it showed that basically through the study they learned that people store trauma in their pelvic floor. Fear, they can see fear stored in the pelvic floor. When people are constantly in a state of fear, it's possible to tense up your pelvic floor muscles. And sometimes they don't come out of this tense state, okay? So now let's go back. Oh my goodness. If this is not a sign, and the girls that are doing my program starting tomorrow, if this is not a sign, ladies, pineapple season is coming. That golden fruit, it's worth waiting for. Oh my gosh. Do you know it takes longer to create a pineapple than it does to make a baby? Oh my goodness. Wow. Okay. Golden fruits with crowns are worth waiting for, people. Okay, we'll talk about that another time. He's running to these little duckies. So it's our job if we know this, the pelvic floor muscles are voluntary. We can control them. We have the ability to control them, to talk to them. It's our job to retrain those muscles. If they're tense, if something happened to them, it's our job to help them come out of this tense state. Except the problem, and I'm not saying me, like our job as pelvic therapists. No, I'm saying it's our job as human beings, as people. We're just not taught, okay? That's just what it comes down to. We aren't taught. And there are people that know all of this information, that they're keeping this information. For example, not to sound like a conspiracy theorist or anything like that, but for example, the Urogynecology Association, or whatever their body is called, one of their, and someone that's in here, if this is your specialty, please jump in and correct me if I'm wrong. But I learned this in my courses, actually, for pelvic health. And one of their bylaws, or not bylaws, their code of ethics, I'm not sure what they call it, but every discipline has like a code of ethics, a code of honor, certain laws, like ethical laws they abide by. One of them is that they will not go straight to surgery, and I'm paraphrasing here, okay? I don't have all the legal jargon, but they will not go to surgery or to these invasive procedures before presenting the patient with less invasive, more conservative options, such as pelvic therapy, okay? So, if that's the case, why are so many doctors sending to women to surgery first before pelvic therapy? They must learn it in school, don't they? Don't they hear about this discipline that they can work with? Why are we still working in silos when we're supposed to be shifting the way our medical system treats people? We used to, this is what they say, we used to work in silos, but we no longer work in silos. Now it's interdisciplinary. Okay, so let me see that. Let me see that. Okay? Stop sending women to go get meshes because they're leaking urine and they're over the age of 60. So therefore they should get a mesh or a bladder sling. Hello? Did you try therapy? Did you try working out those voluntary muscles with the help of someone that knows how to teach you or what to do, and that this is actually a thing and it's possible? Someone that believes that the human being has a little bit more power than they've been told? Yeah, the system is set up in silos. Even though they're lately, like when I was in school, how long ago was that at NSU? 6 years, I think, when I was in OT school. That's what they were saying. Everything is, we're moving towards interdisciplinary. Everything in the hospitals and in the medical system, everything is interdisciplinary. So we need to, they had whole seminars on, I gotta get off soon because this is kind of getting out of control. They had whole seminars. This puppy is loving this walk though. They had seminars on interdisciplinary, what do they call it? What do they call it? Something professional. I don't even remember what it was. But anyway, I have a whole book on it. I won this book somehow at one of these meetings at school that we were supposed to go to. And so that's what they're teaching us in school, that everything is if something, you're limited in some area, or you know that you've reached a point where something is beyond your scope of practice, you're supposed to refer out, right? Duh. Except, I guess, and no offense if I have surgeons in here, because I know I have some surgeons following me, but and not just surgeons, but some doctors, I guess they're the top of the line. That's it. They're they don't have to refer to other people, to other disciplines. And I know this is not true for everyone. And some just don't know. Some just don't know. Interdisciplinary is just a buzzword. Yeah, I know. The word was something like professional. I don't remember what it was. If I find the book, I'll take a picture and I'll just post it. But so we're not taught that these muscles are voluntarily controlled. So what happens when we have surgeries, for example, any kind of abdominal surgery, any kind of traumatic thing that may have occurred, especially if it's in the area. And when I say traumatic, maybe it wasn't traumatic to you, like maybe you didn't, it didn't seem like it was, maybe at the forefront of your mind consciously, but it was traumatic to the pelvic floor, okay? Remember the guard dog. It does not forget. So this is the problem. The guard dog doesn't forget. And if you're not training your guard dog to say, oh, you guys see the turtle? You guys see the little turtle? I'm going to post this one. Turtle! Okay. Amorcito, you just have to look. You just have to look, Amorcito. Look at the turtle. Look at the turtle. And then there was an iguana, but he doesn't really notice the iguanas. You have to train your guard dog to... Come on, Amorcito, let's go back. I gave the example in the past. So you have to train your guard dog to chill out, basically. Like, okay, guard dog, chill out. You're okay now. You're safe. Everything's okay. Maybe it's not. And maybe things come up in life because the pelvic floor muscle tone will change based on life situations. If you're in more stressful situations, you might have a more tensed up pelvic floor. If you're... Look at the fishies. I'm sorry, guys. I'm so distracted. I'm just so happy to be out here and doing this right now. Yesterday was kind of a really crazy day at the hospital I work per diem at. So if you guys are writing right now, I'm going to try not to read the messages right away because it completely takes me out of my flow. Sometimes I get in my head. I get... I get out of flow and then I start thinking about other things and I forget where I left off. And when I listen back, sometimes I'm like, oh shoot, I didn't finish talking about this idea and I jumped to another one. Oh well. That's why if you guys have questions about certain things I say, I'll do my best to answer them in DMs like I'm doing and in these lives. Like right now, someone asked me something a few days ago. So that's why I'm talking about this. So if there have been removal of fibroids of the uterus or parts of the uterus, if you've had a C-section, if you have had radiation in the area, and it doesn't have to be exactly in the pelvic floor area, guys. It doesn't have to be right there in the pelvis. In the pelvic therapy world, we treat people, and I work with clients who have problems from the belly button down to the knee. So knee pain, did you know that knee pain could be... Okay, he wants to run. Knee pain could be the cause of your guard dog being on defense, guarded, tensed up, overactivated, okay? So overactivated pelvic floor muscles will cause pain. If you've had these surgeries, these muscles can be overactivated. So they don't only have to cause pain, and sometimes it's chronic pain. Like throughout the day, unfortunately, there are people that live with chronic pelvic floor pain, and I'm my heart goes out to them. I don't know how people can live in chronic pain. I can't even handle sometimes like a headache or migraine because I forgot to drink enough water or put enough electrolytes in my water. Because I'm noticing I get them more often now because I've been doing this type of detox with Dr. Courtney Hunt. So I haven't gotten as many before. I mean, they were bad, but just around that period. Now I'm noticing them right away when I get them. But I can make them go away right away with electrolytes and water, if you know what I mean, which I think a lot of you in here do. The magic, right? In the synaptic spaces of our neurons. I love it. Our consciousness, our soul resides in the microtubules of our nerves, and that gets me so excited that there's a place where science and spirit meet. And I'm going to go back to the pelvic floor right now. So it doesn't have to be chronic pain. Amorcito, I don't want to pull on you, babe. It could be during penetrative sex, during intimacy with your husband or wife or partner. Okay, at risk of offending people. And that could also be due to overactive pelvic floor muscles. It doesn't mean that collectively they are overactive. It could be that just one, remember there's 14 of them, so it could be that just one is overactive. Or a couple, for example. And sometimes they're deeper. They're in deeper layers, and you might not feel them until you're having sex. Until you've got something there. I don't want to sound right? Because the penis grows when the male is aroused, and that's natural. That's what's supposed to happen. And if there are layers, there are 3 layers of the pelvic floor. The deeper layers can be affected too. So you might not notice issues with chronic pain throughout the day, but then when it comes to making love, there you go. So that's where the down training comes in. That's where the teaching your guard dog to chill out comes in. I don't know if that got cut off because the video paused. Someone called. Ways to do that. You can use dilators. You can use pelvic wands that target specific muscles. Actually, I have a lovely, lovely, lovely client I'm going to talk to about more about that tomorrow. I'm so excited. I love what I do. And I love how I'm helping women. And what else? Dilators, pelvic wands, and these are not meant to be used sexually, guys. These are therapeutic things. These are things that, and while I did say earlier about unnatural things happening to the pelvic floor, these are therapeutic. It's not going to be traumatic, and if it's uncomfortable, you don't do it, and you start slowly. Okay, I'm gonna let you guys go because I gotta take this dog inside or let him socialize with that baby and the other dog over there. And he's probably gonna drink some water. Okay, let me read some of your messages before I get off. Nope, they don't. Hooray, a pooper scooper. Okay, I read that. No one is going to refer their money/income to someone else's practice. It's a money game, not what's best for patients for most. Yep, you are absolutely right. Hi! You are so right. I'm going to let you guys go. Bye, guys.
Bye. Hi. Hayden, do you want a pet? You have to ask.